When I hit 1 million on YouTube, there was literally no one darker than tan that had ever done that before on YouTube. In the beauty world, they still talk to you like you're crazy. They still catcall you. They're still looking at you like an object. And it's crazy to me.
You motherfucking beauty bloggers got more drama than a Real Housewives of Atlanta episode.
If you're shook, we're in this and we're shook too.
I got Jackie. Hey, Jackie in the house, everybody.
Cheers. Clink, clink, clink.
To your first Just a Sip.
I know, I'm excited.
I'm so interested in you because you speak up for people of color in the beauty vlogging industry because there's not a lot of you.
Yeah, there's not a lot of Black women.
How is that possible? Because I feel
You'd be surprised. I feel like the biggest hurdle that I had to overcome with my growth was, YouTube is very visual.
Yes.
So when you're online and you're scrolling through the Explore page and you're looking at people's thumbnails, subconsciously, when people see a Black girl or a Black guy, we're talking about like 4 or 5 years ago. It's gotten a lot better and people have gotten open-minded more now.
Yeah.
But like back then it was like, oh, she doesn't really look like me. So why would I watch that video?
Yeah.
Or I would get like comments from some of my followers and they would be like non-Black people and they would be like, yeah, my friends are always like, why do you watch that Black girl on YouTube? Like, she doesn't look like you. And it's like, think about how that translates offline as well. Like, do you have non-Black friends in your social circles? Do you engage with Black people in your everyday encounters at work? So, and people really think like that. Whereas I feel like, I don't know if it's just like culturally like a Black people thing, but like we tend to engage with everyone because we're open to it, but sometimes it's not always reciprocated.
No, exactly.
Yeah, and so that literally translates onto YouTube, and that a lot of people who look like me, have my complexion, are on the darker side. People are looking at their thumbnail and it's beauty. So everything is visual with beauty, right? So they want to learn how to apply a foundation, but they think they have to literally watch someone who looks exactly like them doing it.
But
in order
don't
for
you?
them to learn. Not necessarily, because I mean, if I'm teaching you how to contour, like if you already know the colors you're going to use, I'm teaching you the technique.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're watching me for my personality. You're watching me for the technique. If I'm reviewing a new skincare product, why does it matter if I'm Black?
Wait.
It doesn't really matter.
That's
you know what
true.
I mean?
But by the way, y'all steal it from us anyway.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like, y'all steal it,
of course.
The Black girl's been contouring
which
for
makes
years.
which makes it like kind of even a double-edged sword, because it's like Black women are literally like one of the most copied and emulated people on the planet.
Yes.
But they don't want to consume that content from us. They want to consume it from someone else.
So you would rather go to see it from the girl who learned it from me instead of just coming to the master himself.
Yeah.
Like, why would you go to Daniel's son when Mr. Miyagi is sitting right here?
But that's how people think. It's crazy. When I hit 1 million on YouTube, there was literally no one darker than tan that had ever done that before on YouTube. In the beauty world.
Wow.
I'm not talking about other genres. I'm not talking about comedy, gaming. They're different. But on the beauty world,
How long ago was this?
Many. This was, I think I got 1 million in late 2016.
That is so embarrassing that in 2016, that there was no one
darker than tan.
That's crazy.
In the beauty space that had hit over 1 million subscribers.
That's insane.
I know, but it happens because a lot of people are just, just so closed off to like what they could open. Like they just weren't open-minded. It's just very simple. They weren't open-minded.
So you opened the door.
I mean, like, to me, it wasn't about like, of course, like who doesn't want to be the first? Like the first is epic. Like,
but it's sad that you were the first.
But exactly. And to be completely honest with you, I remember the first time I ever talked about this in a video. What I said was like, honestly, even if it wasn't me, like I just need to see that it's possible.
Yes.
Like some Black women just need to see that it can be done. And if they aren't seeing it, they're not going to believe in themselves. They're not going to have that inner motivation.
You're not going to think it's possible.
How? It's because it isn't. Because history has shown us it isn't. Because media is showing us that it isn't. Because the mainstream, what's mainstream is showing us that it isn't. So if we don't get an example, then how are we going to break down that barrier ourselves?
The thing I love about you is that you are truly a self-made woman in the sense that not only did you make this by yourself, you were in the motherfucking army, which is the far left from beauty, blogging, and
way
vlogging.
far, honey, way over the deep end.
why did you get into the Army in the first place? And how did you come into vlogging? Because
It's a long
I don't know how you you just go from eating goats in a Nigerian home to getting into the Army.
Well, there's a lot of crossover here, but basically, like, okay,
You followed a
so
man to the Army.
actually,
You did it for the D.
Well, not for the D, but not necessarily.
Hey, if you follow the D to the Army, it's fine.
No, it was
I'm
kind of not
you.
really that. It was more like, okay, so basically, you know, all throughout my life, I thought I was gonna do fashion and beauty. Like that was just my thing. I used to literally like design clothes when I was like 10, like sketch stuff. My mom was a seamstress, so she would like make the clothes for me.
Yeah.
So fashion, beauty was a huge part of my life since childhood. Like I just knew that was it for me. And then I got to high school and it was like junior year, your parents sit you down and then they're like, okay, what are you gonna do with your life? And I was like, Dad, like, you know, I wanna go to FIDM. I wanna study fashion. It was my dream to go to FIDM. Like I wanted to go to FIDM so bad. It was like the cool school when I was in high school. So then he was like, yeah, so like you could do that, but like you'll be cut off when you're 18. Or you can go to school to become a pharmacist and like we can help you. So I'm like 17, like, yeah, so let's look at the Cal States. Yeah, you see your mind? All right, I'll apply there. So when you're like 17, you're like, I don't know what to do with my life, right?
Yeah.
So then I applied to schools. I get into Cal State San Bernardino. But then I got to college and I had way too much freedom. I was so like academically obsessed all throughout high school, middle school.
Yes.
That I think when I got to college, my brain was just like, I can't do this. Like, I cannot do this anymore. So then I started dating this guy my sophomore year of college. The
Lifetime movie starts.
The alleged D.
The BET
the alleged
movie starts
D.
right here.
And he had joined the Army. So he had just joined the Army. So my mind was nowhere near the Army at all whatsoever. I swear to you, Justin, I swear to you. But then we're talking, and this is my sophomore year, and like at this point my brain is like on level 10. Like I just could not do it anymore. So then he was like, why don't you just join the Army? And I was like, boy, bye. What do you mean join the Army? What am I gonna do in the Army?
Right.
What am I gonna do in the Army?
Exactly. You're like, what am I doing?
What are you even saying?
Should I come?
What are you talking about?
Should I do it?
I was like, should I do it though?
Will you watch out for me?
I'll just try it though.
Yeah, would you watch out for me?
So then I was just like thinking, and I was like, actually, you know what? Like, he gets to travel the world. He gets to meet cool people. He has a career, he has a salary, he has benefits. I was like, he's getting all that cool stuff. Why can't I get all that cool stuff? Like, I want to meet people. I want to like give back to my community. I want to change people's lives. Like, I want to do that. And so that was why I did it. Honestly, it was one of the best decisions I've ever made because it was the first thing that I had done in my life for me.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I really actually like challenged myself and came into adulthood and did something that I wanted to do, not my parents, not society. Because, you know, even there's a whole different set of challenges being a woman in the military. It's like, and then an attractive woman, it's like, oh, you're not going to work. You should be cooking. You should be somebody's wife. Like, people are so judgmental.
Right.
In all industries, but especially in the military is, look, it's very misogynistic.
Yeah.
Very misogynistic. It's very like, oh, women are not, it's just, come on, seriously, like we're all doing the same job. We all wear the same uniform. Actually, while we're on the topic of dropping gems, I would just like to say for the people who judge women and say the way that you dress.
Speak on it.
A lot of people like to say the way that you dress determines how men will treat you.
Yes.
As a woman that, you know, a woman in uniform, I can actually tell you that is 100% BS because the way that uniforms are designed, they are not figure flattering at all. They are not figure hugging at all. No matter, even if you want to get them a size, no, they're going to give you the size that's going to, everybody is one and the same, and sexual harassment still happens. So when people say, oh, how you look determines, it's not true. It's 100%. And I know that because I live that to some extent. Now, it could have been much worse. I know a lot of people who have had much scarier stories, you know, being in the military, but it's like they still talk to you like you're crazy. They still catcall you. They still disrespect you. Men still talk to you like you ain't, you know what?
Yeah.
Even when you're in a bland box refrigerator shaped
right.
uniform,
taping down your boobs,
they're still looking at you like an object, and it's crazy to me.
You motherfucking beauty bloggers got more drama than a Real Housewives of Atlanta episode.
Are you kidding me? Like, it's, I don't know why it's been like that. Like, I feel like it's progressively gotten crazier and crazier in the past like 4 years. And I don't know what the catalyst to that was, but and if you're shook, we're in this and we're shook too.
But I'm shook because like it's not like you just having this spat online. It's in Glamour magazine. It's on the New York Times.
It gets messy.
It gets messy.
And you know, also like I'm 32. So for YouTube, I know this is gonna sound very dramatic, but for YouTube, that's like a little older.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people who are like considered my peers are like 10, sometimes even 15 years younger than me. So I'm a very like, let's talk it out. Let's, you know, if there's an issue, the small issues I've had with, you know, fellow other influencers. And every time I've tried to like be the bigger person and talk about those things, it's just been like, okay, so this was just like not really what it was.
But they like the clout and the PR.
Sometimes people do. Sometimes people really are like attention obsessed. And I feel like we see that not just with beauty, like we see that with like, even like TikTok. I'm like, huh? Like these TikTokers got beef? These little tweens?
Yes.
I'm just like, girl, where's your algebra book? Like, what time is it? Like,
What's going
aren't you supposed
on?
to be in school or something? But yeah, a lot of people, and I feel like that's just the wave of social media in general, is that people just love the attention. That's why they're there. And, you know, people say things sometimes just for the reaction. I swear I feel like some people like to be canceled.
But how long did it take you to realize this? Because you've been in the beauty space
10 years. 11 technically this year makes 11 years. Yeah.
How long did it take you to realize that people just want that attention? So they'll come for you.
Yeah.
They'll try to bait you into that.
I mean, I would say the first time I ever had like any somewhat spats with anyone was probably like not really until recently, like 3-4 years ago. And, you know, it just becomes a like, you said what you said, I said what I said, I'm not going to engage, you know, I'm not going to egg it on, I'm not going to further encourage it. And also I think it just depends on the magnitude of like what's happening. So there's things where it's like, oh, I didn't like that video, whatever, like I'm not gonna sweat over that. And then there's bigger things where like if you say something about me that affects like not just me but like people in my community, then I'm gonna speak up.
All right, you guys, to listen to this whole interview, go to wherever you listen to podcasts, click on Just a Sip and sip this tea.
Hey, are you tired of seeing random goofy clips that make you laugh and totally distract you from work, driving, or whatever? Of course not. No one is. So head over to the Sips YouTube channel and you'll never run out.